Assalamu alaikum. Welcome again. So today, inshallah, we're gonna focus on language focused learning. So language focused learning has many names. For example, focus on form focused instructions, deliberate study, and deliberate teaching, learning as opposed to acquisition, intentional learning. All of these are alternative names, يعني أسماء بديلة, so you can using instead of using language focused learning. So the first one is focus on form focused instruction, and deliberate learning, teaching, and learning acquisition, and intentional learning. Yeah, okay, so we can, for example, asking like in this regard, for example, language focused learning include intentional learning, we can say like focus, form, focus, instruction. Deliberate teaching and deliberate same for study. So all these you can write notes about them. So these involves, features like pronunciation, spelling, vocabulary learning, and discourse. فإن all these skills اللي هم نسميها sub skills. يعني إذا لاحظتوا إنه بتدخل في السب skills في اللفظ، في السبيلينج، التهجئة، الفوكابولري، الجرامر، الديسكورس نفسه، يعني الديسكورس analysis، التحليل، الخطاب المسلم. So the term language focused learning is preferred because terms like focus on form and form focused instructions are misleading in that they can involve a deliberate focus on meaning as well as form, and need not involve instruction, but can be the focus of individual autonomous learning. يعني تعتمد على إنه تطوير الطالب ككل to be independent. Okay, so here is some activities in this regard. We can consider them. For example, the first one, pronunciation practice, substitution on tables, and the drills. Then vocabulary, for example, from a word card, and intensive reading, translation, memorizing, dialogue, getting feedback about their writing. So we can say here in this regard, activities involve language, activities of language focused, involves pronunciation, example substitution. هذا substitutional عبارة عن يعني استبدال drills, tables, intensive reading, all of these. Okay. So we have here to move to the conditions. يعني الظروف اللي بنستخدم فيها ايش؟ الانبوت والاوتبوت، يعني good conditions. دي طبعا في language focused learning. The learners give deliberate attention to language features. The learners should process the language features in deep and thoughtful way. يعني تقديم يكون تقديم بشكل، يعني دائما بحكي انه have to create creative students. يعني لازم احنا نخلي الطالب مبدع في التفكير، بانه critical thinking في التفكير الناقد. So when you introduce or we can say provide your learning activities, you have to focus on creating creative students. So there should be also opportunities to give space, repeated attention to the same features. The features is focusing on simple and not dependent on the development and knowledge, and the learners don't have like features which have studied also 3 strands of the course. So the language focused learning effect on these, it can be added directly to the emp list. وفي فرق بين الامp list والاx list. الامp list معناتها directly indirect، يعني بطريقة غير مباشرة. They will explicit directly. So one of them is indirectly, and the second one is directly. And this is important لأنه إحنا هلا بندخل على المعاني الضمنية. فالإمبلس معناته إنه ممكن نفوت على المعنى الضمني implied meaning. It raises consciousness to help later learner and also focus on systematic aspects of learning language, and also it can be developed strategies. There are some activities in the language focused learning strains such as dictations. كمان ممكن يكون في dictations. لا ممكن it's like focus on many activities that is in this circle. So there has long been substantial evidence that deliberately learning focus can be results in language amount of well-returned usable knowledge. So evidence also shows that a very large amount of the learning can occur in limited amounts of learning time, particularly if learning sessions are increasingly spaced. Okay. So there is evidence that هناك دليل إنه that learning is effective for learning of multiple word units. يعني كل ما إحنا تعلمنا أكثر كلمات multiple units, we can find it easy for us to understand them. So there is evidence هناك دليل that deliberate learning is effective for the learning of multiple or multi-word units. Okay, so we'll start here. Inshallah, next time we're going to talk about more about how to become fluent in listening, the speaking, reading, writing. I consider actually these all advices that is really very helpful for you to develop yourself, to understand the language itself very, very deeply, goes deeply to the language. So let's, inshallah, next time explore more about how to become less fluent in this, or become fluently speaking, listening, speaking, reading, and thank you so much for this session. Inshallah, see you next time. Bye bye. And salam fi aman.